Welcome to this video. This video is going to be a breakdown of my track. Basically, what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to go through the entire project of my new track and show you how it's done and what kind of effects and how I've been working on this. Just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in my head. Alright guys, let's dive right into it. So basically the way I'm going to do this is that I'm just going to go through the track bit by bit. So I'm going to start off at the very beginning of the track, obviously. And yeah, let's just go right ahead. So this first part of the track is really quite simple. The entire track is really simple, honestly. So what you hear here in the beginning is panel number 1, which is a guitar. It's actually made out of 3 different synths, so we get a fuller sound and they just complement each other really well. I think that if we do like this to mute them and just kind of play them on their own, they're kind of stale. This one provides a lot of the character, but yeah, together they just create more of a full vibe, and I really like that. And besides the guitar playing, we have this pad. It's really just a simple pad that follows the chords of the track. It's a Rephix Nexus standard preset. Nothing too much to that really. Then I'm basically playing a few samples. Cashmere samples are great. I love the Cashmere samples. So yeah, throughout the entire track you will see that most of the samples were actually from those Cashmere sample packs. But yeah, here it is. You can see that along with the pad I have some ambient sounds, some sweeps and some drop sounds, just to complete the vibe really. Then over here, what you see here is actually just a very simple string. Oh yeah, it's muted right now, so that's why there's no volume. But basically it's just to fade in the violin, to get a smoother transition into the violin that starts here at the next part of the track. So yeah, here we introduced this violin that's just going stone steady using a plugin called Philharmonic. Great plugin, has presets for violins and different sorts of strings and all that. I'm just gonna take it back a step here. So basically here we are starting to introduce this drum loop, another Cashmere sample. But yeah, I'm basically just letting it fade in with some filter modulation and some volume modulation. And then I'm throwing in a different loop just to switch it up in the very bit before the actual breakdown really begins. Okay, that won't play. But yeah, so in this next part here, we are starting with the vocal. Okay, yeah. Also, as you can hear, my PC can barely keep up with this project and I really need to get a new PC. But yeah, this is the vocal. It's a Cymatics vocal actually, so it's okay to use and all that. On this vocal I have some auto-tune just to make sure that it stays in key. It was slightly off every now and then. And then we have some EQ. I'm boosting a bit of the mids and a little bit on the lows. And then finally I have an inflator on it just to crank it up. So yeah, there's not really too much to the vocal either. But yeah, you can also see that I'm using the violin, but here I've sped it up compared to before. And then basically this plays along with the vocal to create a sort of nice summer vibe here. one thing I do want to point out here is how these kind of things can be worked with when you're working with guitar samples. So as you can see here, all of the notes are kind of strummed away from each other. This just, if they're all playing at the very same time, sound a bit more static. So this creates a little bit more dynamics in your guitar. And basically, if you're using any real life sounding instruments, then I will recommend you to use this strumming thing. Yeah. Then right before the melody drops here, what I've done is that I've recorded the reverb of the first note of the melody. So the first note is this F4. So I recorded that reverb, and then I reversed it and made like a fade-in effect. And then I have taken this sample and I've automated the panning of it, so you can see it. So you can see that it pans left to right, and then I've sped up the tempo of which it goes left to right here. So yeah, I've increased the LFO speed just to give it sort of a whoosh, swoosh kind of effect, and yeah, it just gives a nice little fade into the melody, really. So yeah, this is the melody playing here, along with the drum loop. But yeah, also we have this bass line going on. It's the init preset of Nexus, just low cut, or no, high cut obviously. Yeah, and then the melody itself. I'm not gonna go super in depth with it, but I'm using 4 different instances of Silent One. I'm just gonna play them solo so you can hear what they sound like on their own and how they just kind of combine to create a fuller sound. So this is the first of the synths, kind of thin. And then the second one is actually quite identical, but it has a little bit more on the LFOs. So when they're playing together, they kind of phase, but then the small change in LFO just gives a little bit more width. And then we have this third synth, which is the saw that basically carries the loop. Very hard, styly, basic saw, I guess. See that I've actually panned this slightly to the left. I'm not entirely sure where I've done this. Yeah. And then with the 2 others from before. You can hear the thin saws from before on the top end. And then the final synth, which is the square. We all love squares, right? So yeah. When it all plays, it just fills up really nicely, I think. Yeah, okay. Along with that, we have some sweep effects, impacts. Very simple, just fills up the mix a lot. Then obviously we do the classic lead cutoff. So we cut off the filter here. And then we go back into the vocals. Then we started doing some fills. And what's actually interesting here isn't really the fills. What's interesting here are these automations. Because these automations are, this first one is cutting off the low ends of the master track. It's actually an automation on the master track where I'm cutting off all the lows. And this one is also a automation for the master track. Here I am making it more and more mono right before the drop. So let me just play this here. Need to get them filters back on, I guess. So yeah, this is what it sounds with the automation going on. Oh, you can't really hear it, but here it's with the automations, and by removing some of the lows and making it more mono, the drop itself will sound way more impactful. So you can hear here it's really wide and banging. I think something that's also worth showing here is this saw pattern. So, yeah. So basically these are just saw chords that follows the melody and the chord progression. So just along with the regular melody, they just, yeah, it fills up a lot. It sounds very full like this. And then the last thing that I'm really playing during the climax part is this, which are the exact same saw chords, same presets and all. This time they're just sustained the notes and then sidechained, so they create a lot of energy, like. And yeah, in combination with the others, they just fill up the mix so much, and that's really good. So yeah, just before my PC completely crashes, I'm just gonna show you this thing. So it's basically just a break kind of loop thingy. Very simple. Yeah, very simple. Just creates a little bit more vibe here after the first drop. So yeah, I think the final thing I'm going to show you is some of the mixdown that I've been doing here. And what is actually worth noticing about the mixdown here is the vocal, because often it's quite hard to fit in the vocals with everything else. So what I've been doing is a technique called sidechain compression. So on the vocal bus, I have this peak controller. Basically, it just records the input volume of what is going on in here, and then I can use that to make the reverbs and delays, which I have over here on my synth channels. I can make those stuck from the vocal, so when the vocal is saying something, then there will be less reverb, but as soon as she stops singing, the reverb will go up, like really fill up the entire place. I think over here might be a good place to show it. I'm just gonna play this standalone.
I'm on my way.
So yeah, as you can hear, it just really fills up the voids of the vocal and makes it very airy and dreamy. I like that. But yeah, I think that's more or less the track actually, guys. I'm not really gonna go into the kicks and all. I'm not good at doing kicks. I have some kicks that some friends sent over, and I've just been basically layering on those kicks and using kicks that my friends has sent me over the years. I'm not embarrassed by that at all. Really couldn't care less. Yeah, everyone has something in their productions that they probably aren't as happy with or aren't completely doing on their own. I like using samples. I'm not sure how common that actually is to kind of be a sample-based producer in hardstyle, but I would kind of consider myself that. Of course, I do create everything here on my own with synths and all that. But I like producing with samples. You can do so many things. You can reverse them, chop them up in every imaginable way, really. I think I'll just play you this final climax part here, and I think that'll be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Fall through.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more awesome content. I'll do more breakdown videos of the 2 other tracks. I also have some other ideas for some videos. You'll have to stay tuned for those. Might also want to show off a new track, a completely new one that I haven't shown in the other video or anything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe as well. And peace out, guys. Have a nice day.